this is Vicky, also known as Dragonfly7673. You're watching DragonflySoars. I'm recording this on Monday, August 5th, and it is about 6:30 here. It is a little dreary. It was nice out earlier, but now it looks like there's rain coming in. We have had no real summer this year. I know other places in the country are looking forward to cooler weather, but aside from the 1 week that I didn't podcast because my son's girlfriend was visiting, that weekend was hot, or that week was hot. It was like 90 degrees. That's it. I keep joking that was our summer. We had 1 week. We're all done now. On the plus side, this weekend, my son had wanted to go to the Bristol Renaissance Fair, which is in Bristol, Wisconsin. It's been around forever. And the last time he went, he was about 7. So he wanted to go now as a teenager and kind of re-experience it. And it hasn't always been my favorite thing to go to because every time I've gone, it has been very warm. And the heat, I'm sorry if this is wiggling. Tigger has suddenly decided he needs to join in and he's bumping everything. You can't steal that. Now he's trying to steal paper off the desk. Here, show everybody your pretty face. You're not cooperating. So, he wanted to go experience the Renaissance Fair again. And not as a kid this time. So, in the past, every time we've gone, it's been very hot. And it has set off a nasty migraine by the end. And so, it hasn't been my favorite thing to do. But this weekend was gorgeous. It was about 75 degrees and sunny, slight breeze. So it really was very nice. It was a perfect day to be outside. While there, we had some of the food. We saw a guy with a that did whip tricks, and one of the things he did was he lit it on fire. So it was the fire whip show. I'm really sorry. Just a second. Alright, I'm really sorry. I have now shooed Tigger out. He may come back. I didn't actually lock him out, but he's just suddenly just being a total pest. And actually, yesterday, all he wanted loveys from everybody. And I'm not really sure why. We left him for part of a day. So anyway, we went to Renaissance Fair. We tried out some of the food. Best friend and I split a thing of garlic mushrooms. He had a mushroom banger, which is sausage. I had turkey leg. Best friend got some fudge. So, we got fruit ice that's actually like inside the fruit. So they scoop out the inside of a lemon or an orange and they put fruit ice inside. So we enjoyed the food. Son had some money, so he got some steampunk goggles. It was kind of weird because it's supposed to be the Renaissance Fair, and yet there was a ton of steampunk, and the costumes were all over the place. It used to be that Renaissance Fair really meant dress like you're from the Renaissance, but we saw Star Trek uniforms, a lot of goth, a lot of, there seems to be a new trend to have animal ears and animal tails, a lot of zombies, and a lot of steampunk. So he got some steampunk goggles that he really wants to go to the Renaissance Fair again in the future in steampunk in a steampunk costume. So he really, really wanted this leather top hat. And honestly, he looked good in the top hat. Except for it was a handmade leather top hat. And it was $150. And he didn't have $150. So, but I'll post a picture. I'll post some of the pictures here. And I got this necklace. Best friend bought it for me. I'm saying a lot. He bought me a necklace for my birthday, and he was very proud of it, and he had spent some decent money from my understanding on it. And it was silver plated, the entire back tarnished in less than a month of me wearing it. So he's going to be contacting them, and he was feeling really bad. So when he realized that I liked this one, he bought it. And this one wasn't super expensive, but the guy said he guarantees it for life. If you lose a crystal, if something happens, the chain breaks, he will repair it. I'm not sure how you get a hold of him when there's no Renaissance fair, but he gave a best friend a card. So, and I got this mug. This was my purchase. This mug is huge. It holds over 20 ounces. It's got a little dragonfly there. It's microwave safe, dishwasher safe, which is always a plus. It's heavy. The bottom is a little wider than the top, so it stays pretty steady. I love that mug. And it was $28, which for a ceramic mug is not bad. And I've decided that all the little mugs are going away because I only love my ceramic hand-thrown mugs. And my Harry Potter mug from Orlando. I like my Harry Potter mug, I like my 2 sheepy mugs, and I like this one. So the rest of all the little mugs from they've come from everywhere. There's one mug that is something my son did when he was a kid, and I'll keep that one, of course. But the M&M mugs, the mugs from companies that that hand them out when you go to seminars or something, all those, they can all go to Goodwill. Somebody else can enjoy them. So I haven't done it yet, but I have decided as of this purchase, I'm like, I never use the other ones, and I have enough big mugs now to be happy. So I now have a Tiggy by here, but he's being more behaved. While I was at the fair, I actually was knitting on my Verge Evans sock, which I don't have a picture of the pattern up here anymore. I showed it to you the last couple weeks. This is out of Knit Picks Parade, which is a discontinued yarn that I got somewhere along the way. But the colors are perfect for our August birthstone along. So one of the things I meant to tell you last week is that one of the unique things about this is that the sole stays. This is only 31 stitches. The gusset is not on the sole, and it's not along the sides. It's actually up the center. That's why you have these V's, is because you're increasing it up the center. So that's about what it looks like. I just finished the 3rd gusset repeat, which means I am now just at the spot to start the heel. And I was knitting on this at the Renaissance Fair. And my son had kind of sat there and he kind of looked at me funny, like, really, you're going to knit? And I'm going, really, there's wolves and zombie fairies and Star Trek uniforms, and you're going to look at me funny because I'm knitting? And then within 10-15 minutes, maybe more like 20, but right away in the store where the leather top hat was, a woman asked me what I was knitting, and she was saying that she usually knits bulky stuff because she doesn't usually knit with small yarn. And I was saying, yes, but small yarn is portable. And she's going, that is true. So she started talking to me about things we knit. Then as we were walking, there was a woman who tripped over a tree root. And when I turned around to check to see if she was okay, she saw I was knitting, and she was like, I have my knitting. And she started telling me that she had her knitting in her bag with her, and she was surprised that there wasn't any place to, with all the merchants, she was surprised there was no place to buy hand-spun yarn or spinning supplies, because it just seemed to kind of fit. And I hadn't thought of that, but once she said it, I was kind of thinking the same thing. And then we went into a store where a woman was wearing she basically had like a yarn distaff on her wrist. And so she had the ball of yarn, and she was busy happily knitting socks on double points. And so she stopped me. And at that point, my son started to go, fine, because I wasn't the only one. So, but this is right where I've been really enjoying this sock. I'm right where I'm going to start the heel. You first knit the toe, that's a piece. And then you knit ribbing, plain ribbing for a piece. And then you knit a gusset repeat, and another one, and another one. You're constantly doing something. And so the next thing will be the turning the heel, and then various parts of the heel, and then kind of going up the sock, the heel flap. So I'll do the turn, and then I'll do the heel flap, and then I'll go up the leg. So it seems like there's always a milestone, I guess. I didn't tell you guys. This knitting needle is one of the ones that I had bought from China, from eBay, where I had bought like a whole pack of them for really cheap. And I gotta say, it looks like it's like a wire cable, like it's gonna be a problem. It's not. My stitches are, well, I'll try and show you this way. The stitches are really, really smooth, and the join is really smooth. You saw how that just like popped right on? I don't know if everybody's getting the same. I know a bunch of people are suddenly ordering from China. I don't know if everybody's getting the same ones. But this set, I have been so amazed at how well everything is sliding. Now, the cable is a little thick for me, and as the gusset got bigger and bigger, it started to be a little bit of a problem. But I could have moved my loop or something. But I have really been amazed at how well the stitches slide on and off. And I thought the little bend would irritate me, but it's not a sharp bend, it's just a curve. So far, they don't have sharp tips. But for doing pretty much stockinette, I'm doing, the ribbing is a twisted stitch, 2 regular, and a twisted, and then 1 purl. So it's a 4x1, but the 4 is a twisted, regular, twisted. I've been really liking these needles. I really wasn't sure they were a good price, and that's why I decided to try them, and so I could tell you guys about them. Loving them. So, another thing that we were kind of doing this whole past week is all of a sudden we realized the summer's ending. My son will go back home in a couple weeks. This coming weekend is Stitches. The weekend following, there's people coming to visit, and that Monday we're going to a baseball game. But the following weekend, the weekend before Labor Day, he'll go back to my mom's house, which I don't think I told. So normally I check the iPad and make sure it has enough battery life and enough room to record the podcast. I did not do that this time, and I had forgotten to delete off last week's recordings and last week's iMovie project, both of which took up a large amount of space, and all of a sudden it just poof died. What I was saying is that I don't know if I told Mom yet what weekend I was sending my son home, or he's coming home, but she will now because she'll watch this. So, because all of a sudden we're realizing that there's not much summer left, best friend and my son and I all were thinking, there was a bunch of summer movies we wanted to see, and we haven't gotten to all of them, but last week, Wednesday, we saw Pacific Rim, which I think out of all the movies we saw was the best. That one is Robots versus Monsters, but we all liked that one. It was just a good, fun action flick. Don't look for a lot of plot. So that one we all really liked. Then Friday, my son and I took a road trip to go see Lone Ranger because Lone Ranger was like nowhere to be found. So we only found one theater anywhere even feasible that was still showing it. So we went to go see that, and we liked it. We laughed a lot. We had a lot of fun, but we both really liked Johnny Depp. So then Saturday we went to Renaissance Fair, and Sunday, best friend, son, and I went to go see Wolverine, or the Wolverine, and R.I.P.D. So Wolverine was pretty good. I personally didn't like the ending, and I said this on Clerk, and a couple other people said they didn't like the ending either. And then R.I.P.D. was just fun. I know it looks similar to Men in Black. It's not. It is and it isn't. It is not up to par with Men in Black, but it was a fun movie, and we laughed and we enjoyed ourselves. So, in all this, I finished the Twitchy socks up to the ribbing. There was a problem though. So, if I look, these are ready to go. Now they need the 2x2 rib at the top. The problem was, I finished this. I was two rows away from finishing this section when Wolverine ended, and that was actually because I realized I happened to catch it in the light and realized that I was really close, and so I put it down because I didn't want to overshoot. And then I finished the last 2 rows while we were waiting between movies, and then went for R.I.P.D. I had no knitting, and I'm sitting on my hands, I'm futzing with stuff. I don't sit still very good, which is exactly why these get called twitchy socks, because I was very twitchy not having something to work on. But these are up to the ribbing, so I'll probably have the ribbing done the next time you guys see them. But I really only have the Virgevin socks and those socks on needles. So, I've also been, when I was home, I was spinning. Now, last week I tried to show you this, and I showed you in the photos I showed last week were much better color representation than you were seeing on the podcast. But this really does have some bright pops of green. What I did is I took the whole braid and I split it in half down the middle, and then I took both of those and split them in half. They're probably not even. I wasn't trying to make them even. I was just making small balls so that I feel like I accomplished something when I finished one, was pretty much all it was. And it makes it a little easier for spinning. So I had 4 of these. I now have 2 left, so that means I've spun 2. I'm going to spin all the singles onto one bobbin because I am going to chain ply them when I'm done. And make a 3-ply. I'm going to post pictures here because I'm actually, it's coming out really thin, and I'm hoping also that between all the pictures maybe you can kind of get an idea what this looks like. It's a really hard color to photograph. Alright, so I got some things this week. I got these little tins. I ordered them from, I don't remember the name of the shop. It just says B Hints 13. I don't think she has an actual shop name. She just kind of has a lot of little bits of everything there. It's not knitting related. But she had sets of tins. They're from New York and Company. At one point they had mints in them. and I got 10 for $5.75, and then she combined shipping, so the shipping wasn't bad, and then she actually threw in a couple extra tins. I just thought they would be cute for stitch markers and safety pins and needles and all those things that I kind of lose. And I figured I got extra because I figured I could throw them into people's, I could throw them into swap bags and things like that, because I just thought they were cute. In a couple of them, she told me that she snuck in mini ones. So she actually, I wish she was a knitting seller, because she was awesome. She kept me informed along the way. Just very good selling. And she has more of these, because she actually had 50 total, and she had 5 groups of 10, and I bought 2 groups of 10. To be honest, I thought I bought 1 group of 10. Actually, I thought I bought 2 groups of 5. But instead it was 2 groups of 10, which just made the value more. But it also means I have a lot of tins now. And they all pretty much look the same. There's a couple rectangular ones. Most of them are this kind. And the little ones have a little different cover on them. Kind of the pinup girl. So I just thought they would be nice for stitch markers and stuff. Also, some of the other tins I have are the kind you kind of have to pull apart, and because these are made for mints, they pop open on a hinge, which is kind of nice. However, they still have mint dust in them, so they need to be cleaned. The other thing I bought was from a place called My Elements. Now, this place sells all these rubber rings. I got different sizes. Each of the bags was $3.50. I don't know how many are in a bag, but it's a lot. I am going to use them for stitch markers, of course. But I got 3 of each size that I ordered. So there's little bitty ones. Because they are for jewelry and not for stitch markers, they're listed by millimeter. So this is a 7.25. The little bitty ones are a 6. The biggest ones I got are 10. There were even bigger ones than this. She also, because it's a jewelry place, she included some of the different types of plastic cording, which I probably don't need, and a bunch of fun little beads. She actually has a couple kits on her site for if you wanted to make some wacky bracelets. But it is My Elements. On the back it says myelements.etsy.com. Vintage wares, colored O-rings, chain, tubing, always fresh, new, and exciting. But I bought them for the stitch marker capabilities, and I thought they were well priced for that. Some of the stitch markers I had gotten from Twisted Willow Farms Debbie were rubber O-rings, and I really liked them, so I figured if I just ordered some assorted sizes, they would work for something. So those were my 2 non-knitting things. And then I also got this thing. This is a La Loupe. It's for your glasses. This is a sport one. I honestly thought I bought a prettier one. I thought I bought the one that was more fashion jewelry, but apparently not. I actually even double checked my order and just kind of went, because it wasn't what I meant to order. But it works well. So it sits here, and it kind of, these little things swivel every direction, and the glasses just go on. I like it because I see really well close up, and then when I look away, things are fuzzy. So I am constantly taking my glasses off, and I take them off, and then I put them on my head, and then I tip back and they fall off my head, or I set them down someplace. And I didn't want the old-fashioned granny ones because then, you know, even when you put them on, you're like wearing the chains. I have some, and I just can't bring myself to wear them. So they make pretty versions of this. But for the meantime, I figured this was $17. I figured at least I would try it out for the functionality, because the pretty ones are much more expensive. So if I think the functionality will work very well for me, then I would feel okay investing. But so right now, I just didn't realize. I knew this was on the cheaper end. I didn't realize how sport-like it was, because this is an elastic. It's not a chain at all. I thought it was more of like a cording. It's my fault. I didn't read the listing very well. I looked at the picture, which is not a good thing to do. All right. I have something else to share with you. I ordered, and you can get this in ebook format or paper copy, the Unofficial Harry Potter Knits. It's put out by Interweave. I love this magazine. It's a special issue, and the everything in it. There's an explanation at the front. There's the table of contents. Has the pictures that are set up kind of like the talking pictures in Harry Potter. There's a letter from the editor about why Harry Potter. This is an interview with the person who designed the knitwear in the Harry Potter films, because we all know that the Weasley boy sweaters and different, there have been a lot of times when knitwear really took, maybe not an important role, but you definitely noticed the knitwear in the Harry Potter movies. There's another interview with the designer of Tiny Owl Knits, who does like little tiny creations. So there's a lot of, and there's Harry Potter's Britain. So there's a lot of articles, which are nice. I haven't read them yet. The Magic of Knitted Symbols. And I want to sit down and read those. How knitting means love and family in the magical world. So there's a bunch of articles, but then we get to patterns. And these patterns are inspired by the Harry Potter world. So like these scarves are in the colors of the houses. They're not the scarves you would have seen in the movies, but you can definitely see where they come from. And I love the models in this. They're just awesome. You know, there's this guy who's kind of supposed to be, you know, the Snape look, and I mean, the Heliopath vest. She's supposed to be kind of the Luna Lovegood. There's this lovely sweater, and even though all the patterns are inspired by the movie, they are very wearable. This vest with the stained glass is just beautiful. I'm looking for some more. And with each pattern, it tells you a little bit. Like here's the stained glass vest. And it tells you a little bit about why this pattern. Gothic, a style of architecture from high and late medieval period of European history, is what people probably most often envision when they think of the Hogwarts castle. This garment was inspired by Gothic style stained glass windows, such as might be found in the Great Hall at Hogwarts and the little church in Harry Potter's ancestral village of Godric's Hollow. The name of the pattern, tracery, is the term used for stonework sections that contain the glass of Gothic windows. So that's why it's the tracery vest. All of the patterns have something like that. We got Dumbledore's hat and Dumbledore's warm socks. I love this picture. This is Pomona Mitts. She's the teacher for the out in the. She's the horticulture teacher. And I just love how she's, you know, she's pulling up the, you know, what's supposed to be like one of the screaming ones. I love the people they picked. This is Hagrid. I really liked this this magazine. I ended up like telling best friend all about it and making him look at things. So I love this. This is called Juicy Fly. It's just a little hair bow, but it's inspired by Dolores Umbridge, and I love this lady as Dolores Umbridge. And I think it is a pretty hat. This kid looks like he should be one of the Weasleys. It's a pretty magazine. Sorry, I was looking at the hat when I was talking. There is a cloak in here. On the cover, there's this gorgeous sweater. Which is called the, it's Ginny's cardigan. There's a mermaid song shawl. Like I said, I cannot speak highly enough about this. And everything looks like, for the most part, looks like it would be wearable. Now, this is the Order of the Phoenix winged vest. Now, from the front, it's just a vest. From the back, it's got wings in it. I'm not so sure on that one. That one I kind of went, somebody might like it. That one I wasn't too big on, but there is the Lestrange cloak. Let me see if I can find the picture of that one. Where does she go? Here's a bigger picture. Anyway, and then in the back, they do the projects like we expect, but they're all like moving pictures. So, I have not found a magazine really recently where I go, oh my god, wow. This one made me say wow, if only to read the stories and look at the patterns and enjoy how pretty it is and read the little snippets. But then, like I said, there are patterns in here that are totally, completely wearable without, you know, without looking like a geek, you know. So you could take a non-Harry Potter fan and they would still appreciate these. I mean, like the owl cardigan. I just love the back on that. And yes, you can kind of see the owls, but I bet somebody who doesn't know wouldn't really notice. Okay, so it is time for the Birthstone Along drawing. Oh, I didn't look at how many. And then, of course, I hit the wrong buttons. Alright, there were 91 entries, so 2 through 92. And we have 2 prizes this month. From Mountain Pearl Girl is Socks That Rock in the brick colorway with the stitch markers. And from I Am New York City Girl, there is a $15 Ravelry prize. It can be anything from Mini Mart or a pattern. Anything that can be purchased directly on Ravelry that's $15 or less of your choice. Alright. Normally I set this up ahead of time. Alright. 2 through 92. This will be for the Socks That Rock. Number 72. That would be on page 3. I'm really excited at how many people are already posting in the August thread. I just love seeing that. It's jumping around on me. Susan Q Knits, who finished her socks just in time for the month. She finished them on July 29th and used up some old stash, which has been kind of the cool thing about doing this, is finding stuff in your stash. Yeah, I mean, you can purchase stuff too, but like, I probably never would have knit with that green stripe yarn, except for the fact that it was perfect for August, and now it'll be out of my stash. And actually, I'm liking it more than I thought I was going to. So, Susan Q Knits, you won the yarn and the stitch markers. You need to contact me with your full name and address. Alright, next one, 63, which will be on the same page. And now it's already loaded, so that makes that easier. 63 is Alchemy. She participates all the time, so I'm really glad to see her win. This is her post for her ruby jeweled cowl, which, let me see if I can show you, because it was really pretty. It has beads in it, like a lot of beads. About 650 beads. So, Alchemy, you won the $15 or less Ravelry prize. You will need to contact I Am New York City Girl. I will let her know that you're going to be contacting her. Of course, she might see this too. And that would be it. So anybody that was new that didn't realize the Birthstone Along is just been something fun we've been doing. And I need to show you guys something. I didn't post. Mom finished her Ruby doll. And this time what she did is she did a little doll. I don't think I posted it. Maybe I did. If you're seeing it again, just enjoy it again. But I'm going to post it here before I forget. So she had a little doll for Ruby. And she is well on her way in her August doll already. So August is Peridot, which is the greens. And we've just been having a lot of fun with that. I also wanted to give you an update. I still have not heard anything one way or the other from Blip. But I did sign up for Hipcast. And I had set up enough to get an RSS feed that I could manually place into Downcast. And then earlier today, I used Hipcast to post last week's episode. I gotta say, I don't know if it was because I was actually at work at the time. Work is not known for having a super internet speed. That podcast posted so fast. I'm used to waiting half an hour to an hour easy for YouTube, and then another half an hour to an hour for Blip. This posted in 5 minutes. I posted it, and right away my subscription on Downcast with the new RSS feed worked. I watched it. It looked great. I clicked the publish button and had it automatically post to the blog just to see if that would work out, and it did. It's a little squished. I had the settings wrong, but it posted to the blog immediately. For right now, I'm not going to get rid of Blip because all of the iTunes stuff is going to Blip. But I definitely feel better that Hipcast seems like it's going to work, and it's working at the $10 level. It also made the file a lot smaller. So if you're worried about, how much you're downloading and things like that, and the time it takes to download. So it definitely, it seemed to work really well. And since I was paying the $9 a month for the Blip Pro account, which they're still charging me for, even though they haven't had Pro accounts since February, I need to call them. I need to contact them. I had been avoiding it because I was afraid that would put me on their radar for cancellation. But now that I know I have a viable option, I'm going to go ahead and contact them. But the Hipcast seemed to work. So right now this episode, I'm going to cross-post Blip, YouTube, and Hipcast. I will embed the video into the Ravelry thread like I have been. But I'm glad to know that the Hipcast seems to be working. So I will keep an eye on it for today when I post this one. But I want to see from home if it's still like lightning fast, because I just couldn't believe it today. And lightning fast and still decent quality. So I think that's all. I'm going to close the poll down about the whole Blip situation because I think I've gotten all the answers I needed. It turned out, it came out to about the same number of people said I never stream versus I always download. And then there was a good chunk of people that said I prefer to download, but I will watch wherever you are. That tells me that even though those people will watch wherever they are, they still used to download, which meant the download side actually was higher than the stream only side of the poll, which is kind of what I was looking at. And I had already pretty much decided that I was going to find another solution because as a viewer, I want to be able to download. And I realized that not everybody can afford to do that, to set that up. That's fine. We do this out of our own love for podcasting. So, but since I can, and I was already paying the $9 a month, I might as well just shift, going up to $10 a month is not a big deal if I can get Blip to give me my money back. So, for right now, I will cross-post in 3 places. Eventually, I will try to download old episodes onto YouTube. I keep looking at it and about a year's worth of episodes are on YouTube already. Because I started posting them on YouTube in approximately August. And at one point I could automatically tell Blip I wanted to go to YouTube. So I actually had back done a bunch of episodes, but I never went back and did all the episodes because I didn't figure it mattered. But I should have most of my episodes on an external storage device. I have them because for me, they are my diary of sorts. So I kept them. They're just on an external drive and I have to get them off and upload them to YouTube, and that's a big project that I haven't had the inclination to do yet. So I need to get going. I actually need to get this started, and because I have another meeting for work tonight at 9 p.m. We have a meeting with China. What they did is every other week we have a meeting at 9 p.m. The opposite weeks we have a meeting at 9 a.m. So half the weeks inconvenience the U.S. and half the weeks inconvenience China. So, which is about as fair as you could possibly make it. So tonight is our turn to have the nighttime meeting. So I need to get this going. I will talk to you guys all later. Bye.